Hey finders, and welcome back to Fortune Finds, and welcome to another Sephora VIB sale. Like, where does the time go? I literally noticed today that the VIB sale is in what, 2-3 days? What? I don't even know what day it is. I was kind of just like, oh my God, I feel like I just filmed a VIB sale video, but that was back in April. But literally, April feels like it was yesterday. I am bringing you the latest and greatest, the products that I think you should buy during the Sephora VIB sale, and I'm showing you guys how I apply them to my face. So I'm kind of doing like a talk through tutorial of the makeup that I'm wearing today, using each and every product that is sitting here in front of me. I'm going to be sharing the pros of each and every one, the cons, and I'm also mentioning the best and worst ways to apply them. So pretty much giving you the rundown on each and every product. This is like a big review video. And I love these videos. They're so much fun. I love sitting here and telling you guys the ins and outs of products because I'm a product hoarder and I love makeup. I did upload a clean skincare routine not that long ago, and like 99.9% of the products mentioned in that video were from Sephora, and I have not really steered from any of those products. So if you came here looking for a full-on Sephora skincare routine and not so much makeup, check out this video. I feel like I will answer all of your skincare prayers in this one. If you are a Rouge member, as I am, which means you practically spend every other paycheck at Sephora, you have from October 30th to November 9th to shop the sale, and you get 20% off. If you are a VIB member, then you get 15% off starting November 3rd, ending November 9th. And finally, last but certainly not least, if you are an insider member, you get 10% off and you get to shop the sale from November 5th to the 9th. If you are new here, my name is Fortune. I am a certified professional makeup artist. I like to hop on YouTube, give you guys review videos like this, and just give you tips and tricks on how to make your makeup game that much better. If that sounds interesting to you, then do be sure to subscribe. I would love to have you as a part of my little Fortune Finds family. So with that being said, let's hop right into the video. If you watched my brush breakdown video, this is, no surprise. My favorite concealer brush is the Sephora 57. This is their Pro concealer brush. I love the shape of it. It's very dome shaped on the end, so it can really fit into the inner corner of my eyes. It never lays down my concealer choppy or patchy or very textured. It does a beautiful job, and it does a much better job than my finger does or a damp beauty sponge. It washes really well. It goes right back to its shape. Concealer comes right out of it. I don't like brushes where the concealer like seeps in and stains the brush, you know what I'm saying? Or makes it like crusty and hard. This brush cleans really beautifully, and it performs very high end. I'm not gonna stay here for very long because I've been talking this foundation up, and surprise, I'm actually not wearing this foundation today, but this is the IT Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Plus Cream. I'm in the shade medium, and it has an SPF of 50. This is super creamy. It really hydrates my skin. It never leaves my skin textured or like crunchy looking. It doesn't migrate into my fine lines. It doesn't melt off my face. It doesn't make me too oily. It just does everything I feel like one looks for in a foundation. But don't be fooled by the fact that this is a CC cream. It is definitely a more full coverage cream. I kind of view this more as a foundation with skincare benefits than I would consider it a tinted moisturizer. When I think a tinted moisturizer, I kind of think of like a veil that goes over your face. If you look very closely, you can see their sunspots, you can see their dark spots. But if you're from a distance, it just looks very even because the light is bouncing off of it. Your skin is going to look even no matter how far away or no matter how close someone gets with this. I would say this is more like a medium to full coverage foundation. Okay, a foundation that I have never mentioned on my channel before is the Makeup Forever Ultra HD foundation. This is a foundation that is super buildable. I went in with the lighter shade Y235. I actually put an entire layer of that on my face, and then it matched my skin in real life, but then when I was looking in the monitor, I kind of looked a little pale. And also now that I have darker hair, I just find that the contrast of my skin and my hair, it just makes me look pale overall. So then after I laid down this shade, I went in with a deeper shade that's a little bit on the warmer side, Y385, and I put down an entire layer of this. Even though I didn't mix them together and apply it, I put one layer and then another layer. It mixed really beautifully together, and it gave me the exact shade that I wanted. Then I went went in with a third layer after contouring my face, and I mixed the two together. I put 1 pump of each. So I'm essentially wearing 3 layers of foundation today. My skin does not look cakey. It does not look textured. It looks really even, and it will look amazing in photos. Like, because this is an HD foundation, it's gonna look good in real life, but it's gonna look even better in photos. So this is a foundation that I use on all of my clients that are going to take photos afterwards. This is the foundation I've used on all of my clients for my portfolio. Brides, I always use this foundation. I would say it's definitely on the dewier side. If you don't powder your face, it will move into the fine lines of your skin. Lines and texture, I would always, lay down a face lotion and then use a more matte kind of foundation. If you're someone that has really beautiful, supple skin, I always recommend a dewier foundation. So you can do both as long as you know how to play with the two of them and you know what to pair them with. So with this HD, I would always, always, always powder your face, and it does wear a very long time. I would say you can probably get a good 12 hours out of this foundation. Ignore my under eyes. I did not include a concealer in this video because I am very much struggling to find a go-to staple concealer. I've been using the Shiseido Synchro Skin. That's what I wore today. My under eyes look like crap. And also my under eyes have been really bothering me ever since I started commuting into the city, ever since wearing a mask every day. I don't know why, like my eyes just feel so sensitive, especially underneath my eyes. Another Makeup Forever product, full coverage, camouflage cream concealer. You're gonna look at this and say, oh, that doesn't match you at all. But that's because I didn't use this to conceal my skin. In terms of under your eyes, it does look really good. I didn't use it. I probably should have used it. I use it on my clients all the time, and I just feel like it makes their under eyes look really flawless, and it's definitely a concealer that pairs well with a color corrector. So if you go in and lay a little bit of orange underneath your eyes to color correct the darkness and then put this concealer on top of it, it's really gonna cancel it out. It doesn't crease too badly, so I guess, I could include this as a concealer. I just didn't really think of it because the way that I do use this pretty often is to contour my face. This is in the shade 18. I find that it's so blendable, and it's like kind of a thicker concealer. It feels almost like moussey. You really need to feel it to get a sense of the texture of it. But if you lay it down as a contour, it blends out beautifully, but it doesn't go everywhere. And that is definitely something that I have found to be an issue when it comes to contouring products specifically made for contouring. Like the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Contour Wand, I absolutely love it. But if I'm comparing this to the Charlotte Tilbury one, the Charlotte Tilbury one is so thin that it kind of goes everywhere. You have to just be really cautious with how much of the product that you use. And it is so thin and watery almost that it can move the foundation underneath it. So this is great because I can not only use this underneath my foundation, but I can use it on top of my foundation in order to contour because it's not going to pick up the product underneath. A concealer that I did choose, and I feel like that is getting confusing because I already said in the beginning that I didn't mention any concealers, but now this is the second concealer that I'm mentioning. However, this is not a concealer for underneath your eyes. This is a concealer to cover up pimples. This is the Sephora Clear and Cover Acne Treatment, and I made sure to buy this concealer in the same shade as my foundation, so it matches my foundation shade. When you buy a concealer, we tend to choose a concealer that is like 2 to 3 shades lighter because, that triangle trend that I feel like was more so a trend like last year, more so than this year. So we put light under the eyes to bring the center of our face forward, but you don't want to bring a pimple forward. So get a concealer that matches your foundation. This way it blends in. And the reason why this is so great is because it has 2% salicylic acid. Now, if you know anything about acne, you know that salicylic acid is your friend. So I put a little dab of this, cover up any pimple, and it does help to fight that pimple and get rid of it. If I use this for 2 days in a row, I notice like such a big difference in my pimples. And even on days where I just have Zoom meetings and I have a pimple, I'll just take a little bit of this, put it on the back of my hand, pick it up with my finger and press it on my pimple, and voila, it's gone. Why just cover up your pimple with concealer when you can cover it up with the concealer that will help fight your acne? I don't know if I've ever mentioned this in any of my Sephora VIB sales, which is kind of shocking, but I am very much back onto this brow pen. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Wiz, and I'm in the shade dark brown. It's just a really good brow pencil. I mean, Anastasia does it right when it comes to brows. The colors are always great. The application is always great. I love that it is easy to work with, but it's not too waxy and it doesn't lay down like too much texture. You know when you're filling in your brows and you have a section of your brow where there's no hair and you go in with a waxy pencil and all you see is like texture from that pencil because the pencil had nothing to like grip onto. It kind of just leaves like almost like a skid mark of product in the section where you don't have brows. This never ever ever does that. It always lays down really great pigment, and I like how small it is because I can really get in there and shape my brows. However, what it does do every single time, and I don't know why, and I don't find that I'm like too rough with it, but I always break the spoolie off. Like this side is the pencil and this side is supposed to be the spoolie, but every single brow wiz that I buy, like the effing spoolie always breaks off. So that's why you're gonna see me right here when I'm filling in my brows. I use the spoolie of this collab pencil. Anastasia, again, I told you she does it right when it comes to brows. Clear Brow Gel, really nice. The spoolies are really good, really bulky, and this is like hairspray in a bottle. Like, I'm not kidding you. If you don't like your brows to feel like they have hairspray in them, because that's what they feel like, honestly. If that sensation bothers you, then I would not recommend this. But if you don't care and you just want your brows to stay lifted and up like all day long, then I would highly recommend this. I'm touching them now and they kind of feel crusty. They don't look crusty. They look very, very natural. And the wand separates the eyebrow hairs really beautifully. And it also does a really beautiful job whether you use a brow pencil or not. So in the morning, take this and run this through your natural brows, and it's just gonna lift your brows and it's gonna make your eyes look bigger and it's gonna make you look like you're awake and ready for the day when you really did the bare minimum. I am wearing the Charlotte Tilbury Pillow Talk eyeliner. This is just gonna make your eyes pop. I think it'll look amazing on any eye color, but I think someone that has brown eyes, this is going to look exceptionally beautiful on you. Kind of like a brownie purpley red. Charlotte describes it as an aubergine shade. I really like this. I love her eyeliners. This formula is so amazing. It's like creamy, but it's not like so creamy that you can just like slip and slide. You guys know I have like this really weird thing when it comes to products that come in tubes like this, whether it's an eyeliner, a lip liner. This, it's like creamy enough where you don't need to fight for the pigment, but it's also not too slippery where you're just gonna like lose traction. That is the word that I'm looking for. It gives a little bit of like a pull. Like it's like you go along the eye and you're like, oh, this is going great. This pigment looks good. But, you know, if you go a little bit too wonky, it doesn't put so much pigment down that it's going to be hard to clean up. If you do mess up your liner, it's super, super easy to clean it up. It comes right off. You can literally use your nail and just cut the liner off if you brought it down a little bit too high, if you need to reshape it. If you're someone that has oily lids and makeup tends to leave your lids pretty easily, then I would totally recommend setting it just, you know, wherever it needs to be set with a brown or even like a translucent setting powder, just a little bit, because a brown shadow will change the shade of this eyeliner, and I know like you don't want to change the shade because it's so pretty. So I mean, maybe use a purple that matches, or you can even use like the teeniest, tiniest bit of translucent setting powder to go ahead and set it. And I have to say my favorite is definitely this one, Pillow Talk, which I'm mentioning, but I also do really like the Barbarella shade, which is a brown. Another eyeliner, this is so good. I love this, guys. This is the Urban Decay 24/7 Glide On Eye Pencil. Same kind of thing, is super creamy, but gives a little bit of traction. It sharpens really nicely. It will stay on literally all day. I will say though, however, when comparing these two, I think that this one transfers a little bit more than this one. I have used this so many times to just draw like a wing all over my eyes, and it does transfer up on my lids. Granted, I do have semi-hooded eyes. I do have folds in my eyes, so when I look up, this section gets lost underneath and then it transfers. I like this, very easy to work with. However, I think if you are someone, again, that has those oily lids that tends to have issues when it comes to products transferring on your lids, I would totally recommend getting a black shade in the Charlotte Tilbury formula. It's just a little bit more transfer proof than the Urban Decay one. Makeup Forever Artist Color Pencil in the shade 610 Versatile Chestnut. You can literally use this wherever. So today, I use this as a lip liner. I think this is a beautiful dark brown to go ahead and contour. It's foolproof. Again, it is creamy, but it gives gives that traction. I love that it is a wooden pencil. You can sharpen it. You can create that very sharp tip to get the right angles to fill in your lips perfectly. You can use this to create a wing, kind of like the wing that I'm wearing today, or you can go ahead and put this in the crease and then blend it out, and it's going to create a more like eyeshadow effect. So super versatile. You can also use this to draw on the face, say you're into more creative makeup, or say you have like a beauty mark or a mole that you want to bring back out. You can just place it over that and bring it forward. Milk Makeup lipstick in the shade Wifey. I love it. It's so pretty. It's just a really awesome color. You know, it can be more of a nude if you pair it with simpler makeup, or it could be more vampy if you pair it with a full face of makeup, kind of like I'm wearing it today. You know, it kind of is a little bit moody, a little bit more vibey. It is super long lasting. I would say you really don't need to reapply this lipstick for a good 4 hours. It's not matte, but it's not super creamy. So it's not gonna migrate through the fine lines of your lips, but it's not gonna dry your lips out. So it's not like your typical bullet lipstick. It's a little bit thicker than that, but it's not super drying and it's not super matte. It will definitely transfer. So if you're gonna kiss someone, it's gonna end up all over them, but it is kind of like a happy medium between the two. I cannot stop talking about this, and I kind of feel silly talking about this so much because when I tried this in my fall haul makeup video, I really didn't love this, but Huda Beauty Demi-Matte. So no, it is not matte. If you kiss someone, it will transfer much like the Milk Makeup one. But I just love like how versatile this is. You can put it on and press it into your lips to kind of make it a little bit more pigmented, and it's going to show up like super, super pink, almost like a Barbie pink. But if you lay it over a lip liner, like the lip liner I used today, a dark brown, it'll go on a little bit more muted. If you lay it on with a finger, it'll go on a little bit more muted. It's a beautiful color, and it's such a versatile shade, and it is such a wonderful texture. You know, it just feels really great on the lips. It's really hydrating. It's a thick formula, so it's not going to travel through the fine lines of your lips. But see, it's super pink here, and then if I take a little bit and just blot it out, imagine that this was my lips. It goes on a little bit lighter, so it can go on super, super pink like this, or it can go on more nude, depending upon how you apply it and what you pair it with. Okay, Jouer, I'm just gonna mention this really quickly because you guys have seen me use this so many times. I feel like this is a shocker to me because I kind of bought this and was like, basic bitch, like blushes, okay. Adore Me is just so good, and I feel like it pairs really beautifully with any bronzer. It just blends so beautifully with my contour, with my bronzer, and it always lays down really nice. It never lays down chalky, never choppy, and I do like to mix the two as well. These have great lasting power. You know, I find that the first thing to leave most people's faces is blush throughout the day, especially if you are someone that has a face that likes to eat makeup. This will stay on all day in photographs, no matter if it's the beginning of the event or the end of the event. This is always very prominent. Spotlight Glitz Diamond Lights Finisher. It's just really beautiful. I'm wearing it on my eyes today. It just gives like the perfect pop of glitter. It does so much for my eye with so minimal effort. It is a glitter, but I don't need to use a glitter glue to lay it down. I literally pick it up with a brush and I pat it into my eye. I added this glitter after doing my full face of makeup, and it didn't get all over my face. It didn't ruin my makeup. It's so easy and it's so effortless to use. And I know that it's a little bit pricey, but if you are someone that is interested in using glitters and you're new to glitters, I would definitely recommend these Artist Couture ones because it's just really foolproof. Make sure you put all of your eyeshadow on, make sure you put your liner on, and then put the glitter on last, because while it won't fluff all over your face, if you put it on and then go in with a brush and blend it everywhere, I mean, it's gonna fluff, guys, like anything else would. I've mentioned this before, and I'm gonna mention it again because I've never mentioned it in a Sephora VIB sale, but this is a Ciate London Dewy Stix in the shade Glow. I'm wearing this today, and you can see my skin just looks glowy, like it looks dewy. It's not like a sparkly highlighter. It's not a blinding highlighter. It kind of just looks like, you know, the natural oils of my face are just placed in the perfect spots. You know what I'm saying? I love that it doesn't move the makeup underneath, so I can literally do my entire face, powder my entire face, and then go in with this as the last step and lay this down over the powder. And it's not gonna move the makeup. It's not gonna make the makeup bunchy. You know, most of the time when you go in with powder and then a cream on top of it, that's when you run the risk of getting texture that you don't necessarily want. It doesn't happen. I will say though, don't go in with the stick and apply it on your face. Put it on the back of your hand and then work off of the back of your hand. So I always put it on the back of my hand and then I pick it up with my finger and press it into my skin. All right guys, and that concludes my Sephora sale recommendations. Leave me a little love down below in the comment section. Let me know if you're going to purchase any of the products that I mentioned today. Do you own any of the products that I mentioned? If so, what do you think about them? Do you agree with my sentiments? Do you disagree? Whatever the case may be, I love to talk about makeup, so let me know down below. If you have your eye on something that I did not mention, let me know what it is you're buying because I'm very curious. Make sure to check out my VIB playlist at the end of this video. This way you get like the full on meal deal of what it is I genuinely love from Sephora. And again, if you came here wondering about skincare and I did not fulfill that need, make sure you click the clean beauty video at the end of this video because I think, I think I'll fulfill what it is you came here for. Make sure that you subscribe and ring the bell before you leave. I had a great time as always. Thank you guys so much for joining me and I will see you in my next one. Bye, Finders. Mwah.